Coming up next, we're going to look at 4 spokes of life that'll help you see where you're out of balance and what the HEALS Act might mean for you, your calls, and your chats. It starts now. Coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. It is about your purpose, and your purpose is not about you. Your why, that's what purpose ultimately answers. Why am I here? It's not about you. It's about other people. We believe you were created to work. Now, you're much more than just work. Obviously, we're not talking about workaholism and just running the grind into the ground. No, we're talking about being intentional in how you make an income. You were created to fill a unique role. You're needed. That means you must do it. Somebody out there needs you to be the best version of you, and that's why we do the Ken Coleman Show. So excited to have you with us. Couple ways to engage: 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. It's a free call. And the phone lines are starting to light up. I could see them right there. Madison is standing by. Some of you, it's Friday. It's the end of another week that you're just so sick of. You're miserable in your work. No meaning? Call today. Let's head you into the weekend with a sense of purpose and intentionality. Also, you can submit your questions via the chat room, and it's right here on the computer. I'm pulling it up as we speak, real time, and they'll shoot the questions right here to my laptop. And so you can submit those to the chat window right there on the right, or I'm not sure. When I'm looking at the camera, it's all backwards. I'm all confused. I don't know if it's this way, that way, but there's a chat room. And by the way, right below me, I know this is the thumbs up button. If you enjoy the show, hit that thumbs up button. Just takes a microsecond. Subscribe and share. Those are all ways that we grow, and we are growing thanks to you kind people. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So saw a great article from Forbes, and just a really good reminder of something I learned many, many years ago. Just going to touch on it briefly. But in times of prosperity and in times of pandemic, or whatever the situation is, there are seasons of life where we can be really out of whack. Now, I'm not talking about focused times where we say, you know what, I'm going to have to work harder than I normally would. I'm going to have to put more hours in. I'm going to have to sacrifice in certain areas of my life to make some progress, and then I can get back to more of a rhythm. But this idea of life balance sometimes is a guilt trip for people. And balance, well, it's never perfect. You know, if you've seen the old-fashioned scales when we talk about balance, you know, it's rare that you see both of them perfectly balanced. Usually it's like this, and there's some movement like this, and then it goes like this. And you know, every once in a while we may be in seasons like this, but it's not something that you need to feel guilty about. See, balance can be the wrong focus, as opposed to saying, what should my balance be right now? Is it okay for this to go up like this? Or is it negative if it's like this, you know? So that's the idea. So when you begin to look at this, how do we just break something so big and so intimidating down? Well, they've done it in this Forbes article. I'm just going to give it to you really quick. There's 4 spokes. I've heard this. Maybe you've heard this. So this will be a reminder to those who have heard this breakdown. To those of you who haven't, it's a really simple way for you to take inventory of your life. Here are the 4 spokes: work, family, play, self-care. Work, family, play, self-care. I don't need to break those down. You understand what that means. Maybe you're not sure about self-care. What does self-care look like? Well, obviously, we're talking about sleep, nutrition, exercise, meditation, your spiritual life, depending on where you're at on that spectrum, and also just, do you talk positively to yourself? So that's what we mean by self-care. Now, as you look at these spokes in your life, work, family, play, self-care, use the rating scale of 1, which is never true, 2, seldom true, 3, often true, 4, usually true, and put that number that best fits you in the blank beside each of these statements. Now, here's some sample statements. And Madison, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to link to this article on our Facebook page. So what we're going to do is you can go search the Ken Coleman Show on Facebook, and we'll link to this so that you can actually go through this exercise, because I really like it. But here are a couple examples in each of the spokes. Work. I have many interests outside of work. So you would write down 1, never true. 2, seldom true. 3, often true. 4, usually true. A second option there is I spend as much time after hours with family and friends as I do with work. Okay? And so there are a total of 8 questions in each of these. On the family one, I communicate well with family members. I take an active interest in the lives of family members. You got to rate yourself. Under play, I socialize with friends who are not coworkers. I enjoy social gatherings. Rate yourself. Self-care, I schedule time each day just for myself. I have a fun activity or hobby I enjoy. Okay, so as you go through this and score yourself, it's just a wonderful snapshot of where you are. And back to the scale idea, if it's negative and it's way, 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 way negative, then we've got to say, okay, that's not good, and let's see if we can change the balance a little bit. Is it going to be perfectly balanced? Probably not. It's going to take a while. But you want to always have a good idea of where you stand. So that's a great exercise that will serve you well for living intentionally, because the intentional person is going to always be in a situation where there's a little bit of out of balance. But don't think of out of balance as necessarily bad, but we don't want to stay that way for a long time. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. Reminder, I want to talk about this proposed stimulus, the HEALS Act, a little bit later in the program. I'm just going to break it down for you and what that means to you. It's not political. I'm not going to get political. I'm going to talk about what it means to you, what the legislation could be if it happens. So stay tuned for that. 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's go to Lydia to start us off in Indianapolis, Indiana. Lydia, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, Lydia. What's going on?
Well, I'm in this job where, as a licensed mental health therapist, I feel like ethical violations are happening. And my boss, like one time I observed abuse from another person on clients, and I'm basically not listened to, and I'm trying to figure out next steps. Obviously, this is very toxic, and I've got to get out.
Yes. Okay, so how can I help you? So number one, I agree, because you've brought this up, and it's probably not going to change. And so you just ethically can't do this, emotionally can't do this, but we've got to figure out a plan first. I don't want you jumping off, a big cliff here, unless you can financially. Are you needing that paycheck?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are your questions for me? That's why you called.
Well, some have actually gone pretty quickly because I'm actually waiting for a job offer from the Marion County Jail, which is getting back into more what I did, working with severe mental illness, helping them out.
Okay.
But I'm also not sure that, because I'm like my early 60s, eventually I might not want to do a nonprofit in the future. But right now I'm just sitting out here really glad that I'm about to get a call by the recruiter so I can get out of this mess.
That's exciting. Well, good for you. So
yes, it is.
So what's your question for me? Or did we already answer it? Did we answer the question? Were you calling just to say, Ken, should I leave?
No, I already knew that.
Okay.
But yeah, I sent an email about a week and a half ago, and it's just kind of like, the way things work in my life, they just kind of move. I just kind of pray, and then I just kind of move. And so I haven't even put resumes out, and I've already got these interviews and this offer coming up.
That's amazing.
But I'm also trying to think, I want to leave a legacy, and there's just so much corrupt stuff in my field and money-making stuff and the addictions. Just I don't know if nonprofit would be the right way to go, and just
I see. Okay,
yeah.
So
eventually.
Okay, so what you're going to do is we're going to get you stable by staying in a day job that you've got some experience in. So that's what so you've got your track on that. This is about what do you really want to end with? What's the last chapter for you professionally? Well, to me, I wouldn't think for-profit, nonprofit. I would think about the 3 questions that I ask people in mission, which is the third indicator in our get clear stage. We say, what do you do best? That's talent. We say, what work do you really love to do? That's passion. And then we say, well, what results of your work really set your heart on fire? That's mission. And so in the mission indicator, the discovery questions there are, who are the people I most want to help? What's the problem that they have that I most want to help them solve? What are the solutions, or what is the solution to their problem that I get really jacked up about providing? I think those are the three questions that you have to do a deep dive on. And I think the answer is going to be easy for you because you've already told me the direction. It's mental health, right? So, so when
definitely.
you really define those answers, Lydia, and I really would encourage that you get alone, quiet. And I'm a fan of a pencil. I actually use a pencil. It's not just some little thing I try to say to be cute. And I love moleskins. And here's my simple moleskin right here. Nothing to it. It's not even a color. It's like cardboard box. All right. And I take notes on every caller. And it kind of looks like this. And you can't see it, but you can. The lighting goes there. This is my scribbles. Okay. But Lydia, when I am coming up with a book, and I'm working on a third book right now, when I'm developing a talk, I get quiet, I get alone, and I begin to just sketch and write out what my brain and my heart generate. And by taking those three questions, who do I most want to help? What problem do I want to solve? What solution do I want to provide? And we know it's in the mental health space. I really want you to dive deep there and get as specific as you can with those answers, because in doing so, what you will find is the place where you do it, meaning the profession, the location of the profession, all of that will reveal itself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's all you need to do. That's the best advice I could give you, because the answers lie within you. So then whether it's nonprofit or government or for-profit, all that will take care of itself. But you already know the big problem in mental health that you want to help solve. And so I would go about it that way. The answers are going to come to you. And folks, I love this exercise. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason that I break it down to talent, passion, and mission is because the discovery that happens in stage one, which is get clear, is it allows your brain and your heart to align. See, our brain is the logical machine. It's the defensive machine, right? That's what the brain does. The brain helps us with logic, decision-making, information gathering, all that stuff. And it also protects us. So when we get fearful, our brain goes, oh, don't do that. That's not smart. And a lot of our fear comes from the unknown. Or if we know what we got to do, we're afraid of change, or we're afraid of what others will say, fear of peers, or we're afraid of failure, fear of failure. So understand that the brain, if it drives our decisions, it's not a complete decision. The brain must guide our decision, not drive. Understand the difference. I want the heart to drive our decisions, but the brain to guide the heart. What I mean by that is very simple. Your heart in that passion, work you love to do, and mission, results that you really get excited about and you love, means the world to you. Deep meaning. See, the heart reveals those answers. Now the brain comes in and goes, okay, what's the best way to get there? So again, you want your heart to drive, your brain to guide. Because the brain does do good things for us. It does protect us from stupid decisions. It does help us process information. But as a guide, it works at its best, not as the driver. So that's why I give her that process. She's really close, because Lydia's heart is absolutely clear. She just needs to get it all out and allow the brain to look at it and go, oh, I want to help these people. Great. Where are those people at? We want to solve this problem for those people. Oh, fantastic. We want to provide this solution to solve that problem. Oh, great. Okay, good. This is where that is. That's what I mean. And it's really, really important that you understand that. All right, back to the phones we go. 844-747-2577. By the way, before we go any further, I hope you all didn't miss that. I've never said it that way on the show, and I'm going to dive into that myself. Joe, that's what I've been talking about for 3 years, the head and the heart, the brain and the heart getting aligned. And I've never said it that way. And I'm telling you, folks, you really got to understand the difference there. Don't miss that. I'm coming back to it because I hope you write it down. My heart needs to drive my direction. My brain needs to guide my direction. That's how they work together. That's really, really, really simple. And if you understand that, now you're going to be head of the pack. All right. 844-747-2577. Folks, in case you don't know, every once in a while, I say something on here that's really good for me too. I need to be able to receive what I'm sharing with you. And I'm telling you, that's a good construct. And we all struggle with that head and heart situation. All right. Angela is up in New York City. Angela, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Yes. Hi. Welcome, hello, Mr. Coleman. How you doing today?
I am living the dream, Angela. How are you?
Yeah, I'm glad. I want to be able to say the same thing soon. And
Let's do
advice you just gave, the advice that you just gave, I wrote that down. That's really good. The head and the heart. So I might have my own answer before I even ask you this question.
Well, that's actually kind of fun because that's all I want people to do. I want people to understand all I'm doing is I'm just pulling stuff out of you folks. I'm not giving you the answers. I don't have the answers. You do.
All right.
All right, Angela, what are we looking at?
Okay. All righty. Well, I'm 59 years old, and I've had a pretty good career. I kind of stopped and worked a few smaller jobs so I could stay home with my kids, but everyone is grown now. I've been with this company currently for the last 10 years. And I have an MBA and a science degree in biology, and MBA is in marketing. So I'm now being pushed into a position that I don't want. The reason why I don't want it is because it comes with a lot of stress, the potential for being fired, and it's only $1 more than what I already make. So I guess my question to you would be, feeling this way, should I stay or go? But I guess if I want to follow my heart and my head, I should probably just continue, looking for something else, and that's what I've been doing. I did get a job with the state, but now the state is shut down, so that job, I don't know where it's going. They don't know when they're going to open up again.
Exactly.
So my dilemma is I really, really want to leave. I don't want to have any, at this time of my life, I'm not looking for anything that's stressful, but I have a good background, I think, in consumer products. That I was hoping maybe I could do something online to train people about that, like product ingredients, or if I can, or if I can kind of do some kind of. I'm really good with kids, and kids seem to like hanging around us like little toddlers and kids. I did this with my church as well, so I'd like to create curriculum and maybe do that online and maybe make some extra money that way.
My gosh,
I still need to work for right now,
Angela.
That's my dilemma.
Well, I don't think it's a dilemma. So, but let me ask you this to make sure that I'm clear. So at your current company that you've been with for 10 years, they have offered you another position that is...
Well, they're forcing me into it. I don't have a choice. I told them I wasn't... I don't have a choice, and that's the other part.
Okay, I didn't catch that because I didn't know if they were strongly recommending it or forcing you.
No, they're forcing me because they don't have anyone else to do it.
Okay, so if you say no to that, they're going to let you go.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Well, no, I said no, but then I said, okay, well, I'll try my best, and that's where I am. I'm actually doing that. I haven't gotten the actual title yet because they have to train me for it.
Okay, so you know what? So that clarifies what I needed to know. So I want you to just bite the stick and just do that as long as it takes for you to transition. And I think you're already in the mindset of transitioning. So now we got to narrow down what you really want to do. So I'm glad you decided to say, all right, I'm going to do it. But you and I know you're out of there soon. So now let's focus on what you want to do. You threw several things out. Online curriculum for students and kids, it sounded like was one thing. Then you said training people on consumer products. So you've got, it sounds to me like that's an instructor. It sounds to me like, is that right or am I wrong? You like that role?
You're right. A lot of people said I would have made a great teacher, and they kept trying to encourage me over the years, but I was concerned about, 30 kids in the classroom and all the parents that you have to deal with.
Yeah, but listen.
A job to be a teacher.
Right, but here's the deal. If we say teacher or instructor as just a one-word description of your role in your sweet spot, the intersection of what Angela does best, the work she loves to do most, and results that matter most, it doesn't have to be in a school. But if you are doing corporate training or curriculum development or training on how to sell consumer products, all of that comes down to that one word, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Instructor. Someone told me I'm really good at teaching computer things too. Some people have been having trouble online trying to get jobs and they don't know how to submit resumes.
Yep.
So I have a lot of patience and I enjoy that. I like to see people learn.
And see, you just said the last thing I wanted to point out. You love turning light bulbs on for people, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yeah, that's why you chuckled. So guess what that means, Angela? I think that means that there are multiple jobs as I teach. And folks, this is the example of what I mean when I say figure out your sweet spot, the intersection of talent, passion, and mission.
Okay.
And then you find that unique role that you were created to fill. Is that a job when I say that? No, the role.
Yeah.
So Angela's unique role is instructor. So it doesn't really matter, Angela, where you're working or what industry you are working in, as long as most of your day is spent instructing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So guess what that means? There are multiple jobs. Basically, everything you've listed out, everything you've looked into, they all need to come down to one question. Does this allow me to fill the role of being an instructor? And if the answer is yes, and then it's a healthy culture, and it's got a ladder of opportunity, then it is a good gig. And that's all you've got to focus on.
Oh, okay, great. That's great. I'm writing down what you say, so that's good. I'm glad you said that.
Yes,
I really
ma'am.
appreciate that.
That is, listen, that's why I teach the sweet spot. Well, thank you for listening. But listen, this is why we teach it. So that you go, every job you look at has got to be in your sweet spot, meaning that it allows you to use what you do best, your talent, to do work that you really love, your passion, to produce results that matter deeply to you, your mission.
Okay.
And in that sweet spot are multiple jobs and careers because you are fulfilling the role of instructor.
Okay.
Teacher.
Perfect.
Guide. You can call yourself whatever you want to. Okay.
Right.
But I think the instructor works. And I think,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're awesome. You're going to do great things. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love for you to email the show or call us back and tell us when you step into that next role. I think that would be fun for people to hear because I'll tell you why, Angela, it's because you're 59. And I think a lot of people are scared to death of transitioning at that age. I understand why they're scared. They don't need to be scared. And you don't sound scared to me. And I think you're going to do it. And I want to lift you up. So Madison, let's make sure that Angela, I just told her this on the air, but let's also, I've put her on hold. I want to make sure Angela calls us back. She's such a bright light, even if it's a 2-minute phone call. Ken, this is what we talked about. Here's what I did. Here's how it feels. She's 59. She's the poster child. She really is. For people later in life making a transition. All right, let's go to the chat room. Elizabeth writes in, my husband wants me to get a conventional job. Uh-oh. But I want to write my book. He makes more than enough to cover all of our expenses, and I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 11 years. What should I do? Well, you need to have a very, very clear conversation with Hubs. Say, Hubs, can we sit down and talk about my heart and your heart and see if we can get our hearts on the same page? And in doing so, we got to get him to the point where he tells you specifically, if he hasn't already, and I said, he probably has. Well, we got to get his why out in front of both of you. Well, we need more money, babe, because I'd like to save up for this so we can do this. And let him share his heart. You can work, babe, and if you can work, it'll take us here. And see if his desired future matches up with yours. Okay? Then when he's done, and again, it doesn't matter who goes first. You could go first. It doesn't matter. But the point is you both need to share your why behind what you want to do. He wants you to get a conventional job. You want to write a book. And both of you need to hear each other very clearly. This is great for relationship, but it's also great for a strategy and a plan, because when you both are clear as to what future you want, why you want this future, it's not just great relationally, but you can both go, okay, how could we make both of our desired futures possible? And that is very doable, but you got to have that conversation. And you got to say to them, we don't need my money, and I really want to write this book. And I think he's got to go, okay, but I'd really like us to have the money, and I do want you to write the book. Can you do both? And I think you can. But the question is, do you want to do that? I think you could conceivably go to work for a season. Sounds like if I had to guess, it's a short season. You know what? I just had the thought, Nathan. Elizabeth, if you want to call in with your husband, this would be a situation, Madison, where if Elizabeth wants to call in with her husband, I'd like to have both of them on the line because this is a career question and it's a relationship question. And my advice still stands. But Elizabeth, if you're listening and you want to call in now, or email Madison, ask@kencoleman.com. I want to get both of you on the phone, and I believe we could fix this pretty quick. But you both have got to share your desired futures and see how can we both help each other with that desired future. That's how you win there. Michael writes in, how do I get a job in the healthcare field while I'm still pursuing my medical degree? I need to market myself to an employer without having completed my minor. Well, this is all about relationships. So I wrote the book, The Proximity Principle. In order to do what Michael wants to do, he's got to be around people that are doing it and in places where it is happening. So in some ways, you're already in proximity by pursuing a medical degree, but the proximity you have in the schooling that you're taking will open up doors for you. And you can open up your own, but those folks will open up doors for you. And you need to go in that healthcare field and go, look, I'm still getting my qualifications in school, but can I be a non-medical worker? Meaning I can't do medicine yet, but can I be in the hospital? And I'll do whatever it takes just to get in the hospital. So if you're doing orderly type stuff or patient service stuff that has nothing to do with medicine, I'd do it. You're in school, you're making the money, but more importantly, you're in the hospital. You're in the clinic. You're in the hallways. That's the key. You're bouncing into these doctors or PAs or nurses or whatever you want to be. That's what I mean by the proximity principle. Well, Ken, it's not a medical job. I don't care. You're in the building. When I got into broadcasting, guess what? I wasn't on the air, but I was in the building. That's the key. That's the proximity principle. 844-747-2577. All right. I want to get into some money stuff because this matters for you folks that are trying to find a job. Some of you have been furloughed, laid off, and I want to talk about some policy that potentially is coming. We're going to go through this really quick, but this is really important. And by the way, this article, Madison, am I right, is on DaveRamsey.com as well. Okay, so this is the title, What the HEALS Act Means for the Next Stimulus. So the HEALS Act is the next stimulus bill that is being discussed in Washington, okay? It stands for Health, Economic Assistance, Liability Protection, and Schools Act. Now, here's what it means to you, okay? Stay with me. I'm going to run through this really quick. I'm going to stay high level so you understand it. I'm going to make this legislation really simple for the purpose of helping you understand what it could mean to you so you can make decisions about your income and your profession, all right? So the HEALS Act stimulus would be similar to the first round of stimulus checks. The first round was $1,200 for individuals and $2,400 for married couples. Now, when it comes to kids, this is where it will change. Under this stimulus bill, you'd get $500 per dependent no matter how old they are. So if you've got 3 college kids, you're going to get $1,500. $500 per kid. All right? Instant parents with 2 college-age dependents would qualify for that now, whereas the CARES Act was only under 17. So understand that. Now, the same income requirements are going to be in place as the CARES Act. Okay? They would send it right to your bank account, but that's if your adjusted gross income before taxes is less than $75,000 per individual or $150,000 for a married couple. Okay? If your income is more than that, the stimulus check amount would be reduced. Okay? What about the back to work bonuses you're hearing about? Well, this is exactly what you think it is. It's a cash bonus that is designed to encourage these hourly workers or people that were essentially making more money with the federal unemployment benefit than they were if they would go back to work. So this is a straight up cash bonus. I'm not sure what the amount is going to be. That's probably going to change. But one number is $400 and $50 per week who head back to work. All right, so if you go back to work, they're going to send you $450 per week. So we'll see how that goes. Now, folks, just giving you some general ideas here. This thing could change, okay? Now, the extra unemployment benefits, will they continue? It's possible, okay? The extra bump in unemployment money would continue through the end of September, but it would only be, listen to this, $200 a week, not the $600 a week that it has been. So they may extend it, but it's not going to be as much money. And so this affects a lot of people. All right, 31.8 million people is the latest unemployment number at the beginning of July. All right, now, there looks like you're going to get a stimulus check. It looks like something's going to happen. They're going to fight about this. They'll kick it around, but there's probably going to be a stimulus check. So what do you do with it? That's why we're talking about this. By the way, I'm skimming over the big points. You can go get this at DaveRamsey.com. Okay? If your job is stable, then this is just extra money. So throw it at whatever baby step you're on for you Ramsey people. If you're not a Dave Ramsey listener, you're going, what are the baby steps? 7 baby steps are at DaveRamsey.com. Okay? But baby step 1, 2, and 3 is it hits most people. Baby step 1 is get $1,000 in an emergency fund. Baby step 2 is pay off all your debts, smallest to largest. Okay? Baby step 3, 3 to 6 months of expenses in the bank. Your living expenses, every dime of your budget. All right, so what would you do? You would apply that extra money to whatever baby step you're on. You want to make the most of it. Don't just go blow it. Don't just spend it. Make it count. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, you're going, Ken, I don't even have a budget. You need to check out Ramsey Plus, our proven plan to help you take control of your money for good. This membership's got incredible tools and courses like Financial Peace University, apps like Every Dollar, which is a budgeting app, and our Baby Steps Tracker to help you keep track of your progress. Go get it, DaveRamsey.com. The full article at DaveRamsey.com. All right, 844-747-2577. Let's go to San Diego, California, where Jason joins us. Jason, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how you doing?
I'm living the dream, Jason. How can I help?
Okay, so I am actually in the right place when it comes to my employment. I'm in public service right now, which is like a totally good fit, but I'm in the wrong department.
Mm-hmm.
I have the wrong job, if you will.
Yeah.
I went ahead and I actually have a meeting with the director of this department that I work in on Monday morning, to discuss job progress, employment changes, that kind of thing. I've already talked to her about a similar topic earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to get into a different department. We had talked before and stuff like that. So she was always open to helping me out and stuff like that. And she also happens to be an assistant county manager. I work for a local county. So I was hoping you can give me some advice about how to approach this meeting.
Yeah, well, the fact that she's been open to helping you is huge. So what we want to do is, to the extent that you can, you want to pick up where your last conversation left off, right? So it would be something like this. Hey, thanks for meeting with me. Back in blank, 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 we sat down and we talked about moving me from this position in this department to another position in another department. And the reason is blah, 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 blah. And you say, look, I love public service. I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm in the right place in the wrong role. Okay. And so I've identified another role. You're my supervisor. You're my leader. I don't want to rock the boat. I'm willing to be patient, but I know that the right way to do this is to get your buy-in. And also because of your influence and your position as my leader, it's only gonna happen if you give me your blessing. So I wanted to meet with you to get your insight and your approval into making this move, and help me navigate this. Well, that's a wonderful way to start that meeting, and I think that's all you need to do, because you're showing some humility there, you're showing some hunger, you're showing this intentionality to follow up and go, hey, help me get there. How can I help you help me move departments? That's essentially what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question? If you have a follow-up, let me know. But that's what you have to do, because either she's going to be on board or she's not, and it appears as though she's on board with this. And so if she goes, yeah, listen, Jason, absolutely, here's what we need to do. Let me talk to this. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The funny thing is, the first meeting, I was actually heading in a different direction, and she was all on board. She's really, really great about this kind of thing. And then she's actually got a trained psychologist. She's a trained psychologist, so she caught something. She goes, "Nope, that's not for you."
Oh, good.
And then she explained it, and then that kind of left me a few months. And the pandemic has been really good for me to actually be able to be reflective and stuff like that and work it out. It's like, I don't necessarily hate my job, but there's things that I can't stand.
Right.
Which is, I mean, I understand it's employment. That's, everybody has good days and bad days, but it really just helped me solidify things during this time. So now I'm ready to go back to her and say, "Hey, I got this direction now."
Good.
So you've helped out. That's all I was really just looking to see how to open up the conversation well. So I appreciate your input.
Yeah, that's it, man. And it seems like she's amazing, and honor her, honor her, honor her. Thank her, thank her, thank her. Because this is not normal in leadership. What this woman has been, she's a little bit of a unicorn to be so cool about this and to give you insight. And so you really want her to feel like you're bringing her in for her insight along the way, and how grateful you are. That's a huge deal. So, man, you're a great, great, great guy. I love the maturity. I want to give Jason some real love here on, he took the insight from her. No, that's not right for you. And he said, "Oh, okay." He didn't get his feelings hurt. He didn't take his ball and go home. He went back, took her insight, did some reflection, and now he's got some direction. And now he's ready to come back. And you watch what happens. He's going to look back on this and go, "Wow, so glad that the first thing I identified didn't happen. So glad that I had this leader in my life who said, you know what, that's not the right fit for you," and steered me another direction. Was there some frustration at times for Jason? Probably. But this is how it works, folks. And good on you, Jason. Good on you, man. You're doing it the right way. By the way, some of you are going, "Ken, I need some clarity. I don't have the clarity of Jason." Well, we've got a free resource. We've got our Get Hired guides at kencoleman.com. All of these are free. The resume guide, the interview guide, the follow-up guide to the interview. But our Career Clarity Guide is a simple worksheet that walks you through stage 1 of what we teach. Stage 1 of our 7 stages to meaningful work. Living the dream out. And it's called the Career Clarity Guide, kencoleman.com. Just click on resources, the Career Clarity Guide. It's a great worksheet. It'll help you out. And while you're there, we have an incredible deal on the Proximity Principle book, which again is for people who are going, "Ken, I know what I want to do. I just don't know how to get there." The Proximity Principle was written as the guide up the mountain. Okay? And we've got all 3 formats for $25. The physical copy, the digital, which is the ebook, if you will, and then the audio book. All 3 formats, one price, $25. Go get it, kencoleman.com. All right. My time is almost up, but I want you to know you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.